Greetings to everyone out there and welcome back to Around the Clock. Alright everybody, Masahiro Sakurai has recently said the quiet part out loud, and some fans agree with what he's saying here and others not so much. Now, in Sakurai's latest video here on YouTube titled Start with the Climax, Planning and Game Design, he makes it very clear that game pacing is very important in game development, and that if you're making the game, don't fill it with all of these large cutscenes at the beginning of the game. Now, he says specifically that if you're going to make a game, consider kicking things off with a climatic scene right from the start. He goes on to say that the intro sequence of a game is extremely important, and yet I feel as though many games out there tend to be slow starters. They flesh out the protagonist's backstory, the world customs, their relationships with their friends, all for a long time. It's better to lead with a climatic event if you have one. With games in particular, players really want to take control and find out about your game. While it's okay to have events slowly unfold amidst the characters' daily lives, if you're going to do that, try to hand control to the player as soon as possible. In my opinion, you're best off bringing a narrative peak to the front of the story. If this doesn't work with the game structure, at least try to keep the opening short. In short, try to get players up and at 'em right from the get-go. Alright, finally, someone that has rank in the gaming industry has said the quiet part out loud, and I agree with Masahiro Sakurai 1000% because a lot of these newer games have these long cutscenes at the beginning of the game or throughout the game that really are not needed. Now, I'll give you an example of a recently released game that has some really good pacing, and that's Shin Megami Tensei 5 Vengeance. I played this game a little before the game launched because Atlas and Sega gave me a review copy. Shoutouts to them. It's been over a month now and I'm still playing through this game. I put over 100 hours into this game and I'm nowhere at being finished, so this is a large RPG game, and the pacing in this game is very well done because, yes, at the beginning of the game, there are some cutscenes, there's some intro things here and there where it tells you how to move and interact with different players and things like this, but that's about 15 to 20 minutes. After that, you're on your own. The story has really begun. You start playing and interacting with different characters as far as the action and combat is concerned, and I think this is a well done RPG. And of course, with this being a large-scale epic RPG, throughout the game there are some cutscenes here and there with character building and story elements and things like this, but they're not overdone. At the most, they're probably 5 to 10 minutes and then you're right back into the action. So I think that with this game in particular, with Shin Megami Tensei 5 Vengeance, that this is a good example of good pacing in a game, specifically for an RPG, because there are some RPGs out there, some action games, and some shooters out there that have some long cutscenes at the beginning of the game to the point where they're almost movies, and sometimes you may forget about what you're even playing, because that has happened to me. And to me, man, when I buy a game, I want to play the game to experience the gameplay and of course some of the story elements, but don't make these long cutscenes throughout the game. Yes, sometimes they are needed, but keep them short. And of course, what I'm saying here and what Masahiro Sakurai said in his video doesn't apply to all games. This mainly applies to like RPGs, JRPGs, shooters sometimes, as well as large action games too. But I know that, platformers like Mario, Kirby, things like that, we won't see cutscenes in those games, and if we do, they are very short, probably 1 to 2 minutes or maybe even 5 minutes at the most. Heck, even in Metroid games, which are large-scale action games, action shooters, what have you, whether it's Metroid Dread, Metroid Prime, the cutscenes in those games are very short as well. They want to get you into the action and get you going, so I think that's a good example of that as well. And you know what's funny about this is that most Nintendo games, they want to get you right into the action and get you going. And I'm talking about first-party Nintendo games. Now, I can't say this about these other companies like Sony or Xbox or Microsoft, whatever. With some of these recent games that I've played personally, man, I don't know what they're doing. Are they making a movie or are they making a video game with some of the beginnings of these games? I don't know what's going on here, man. I understand that you want a player to have a cinematic experience, but come on, man, let's get to the action. With that being said, guys, that's going to do it for this video. And hey, do you agree with Masahiro Sakurai or do you disagree? Let me know down in the comment section, and please make sure to like this video, share this video, and for the thousands of people out there that are watching this video right now and are not already subscribed, what are you doing? Hit that subscribe button as well as the notification bell so that you don't miss out on daily Nintendo news content. And as always, remember to keep it locked here at Around the Clock, where here we focus on Nintendo news content around the clock. I'll catch you guys in the next video.